This is the KoperCrabb Podcast.
I'm Cheney Crab.
I am Naveen Copperwhite. What up?
Yeah, I wanted to let you guys know we finally have t-shirts in stock. Naveen's wearing one right now. I'm going to throw the link in the bio. Pick it up. Of course, always shout out to our sponsors, Direct Sound Headphones and Moon Juice CBD by Jade Rabbit. Today on the show, we have our friend Eric Brown. His solo project is called Rainbowdragoneyes. He's the drummer of Nekrogoblikon and Wizardthrone, and he's a composer and audio designer at Sabotage Studio.
Hi, everybody.
That's a lot, dude. That's an earful.
I know. You have a very long resume. If I started naming the stuff that you've done, it would have taken me about an hour to get it all out.
Oh, just wait.
Yeah, have to. So how's things going, bro?
Man, really good. I gotta say, you know, ups and downs, strikes and gutters, you know, but overall, I think pretty solid upward trajectory. I can't really complain too much.
So you haven't been affected too badly with the corona thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the social aspect, you know, has been affected quite a bit, but as far as like work and everything, you know, that kind of hasn't really changed. You know, everyone, the video game gig is like my full-time job.
Dude, that's so sick.
I know, that's awesome. And
yeah, it really is like a dream gig, and a lot of it is to do with just the other people that I get to work with, like just making sick shit all day, you know.
That's tight, man. So for those who don't know, you make music for video games.
That is correct. And I also design sound effects for video games. I technically have 3 jobs with this company.
Okay.
Because I'm the composer, the sound designer, and the audio director, which is like just a fancy word for, you know, the one guy on a team of 23 people that is 100% in charge of all the audio that goes into the game.
wow.
And little known fact, all those sound effects in video games, they don't just appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know.
Someone's gotta make them and then put them in place. So, and you know, sometimes you spend like 8 hours on like just 2 like tiny little things that I feel like good sound design, like really good sound design, you'll notice it as being really good. But then like, I feel like a lot of good, like, especially when you're designing like ambience for like the levels, you know, like bird calls in the background and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If it's bad, you notice it a lot more.
Right.
And so you kind of, a lot of it is just kind of like trying to massage it into place, you know, without it standing out.
Like plastic surgery, kind of.
Dude, it's so true. It's so true. The best work is the work that you don't notice at all.
Right. Yeah, it just sounds effortless, or it's just like, oh yeah, of course, that's what it sounds like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you guys get like contracted to do different games, and they do, or do they make games and you're just in that department?
Yeah. So good question. Because I you know, when people ask me about like video game stuff, there's so many comparisons with indie game studios and indie bands. Like you know, the indie game studio is just, you know, sometimes one person or a group of people, you know, sometimes a whole bunch of people, depending on like how big it is. But it's like, you know, someone's got to think of a game that they want to make, and they do what they can as far as what they're capable of, and then they hire other people to do the rest. So we have like animators, we have level designers, we have level artists, you know, who actually design like the assets for the level itself, and animators creating all of the like enemies, and you know, and there's like business people doing that stuff, marketing, UI, who also creates like assets for social media, stuff like that. So basically it started with this one dude, and his name is Thierry. And they're from Quebec City, the studio is.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah. You know, it seems like, not to interrupt you, but it seems like there are a lot of video games coming out of that area, because
absolutely.
I've been talking to some, you know, I'm going to start getting involved in video games as well. And,
oh, yeah?
And when I was talking to the person that I'm going to be working for, he was just telling me, he lives in Quebec City, and he was telling me how many video games are based there, and I never realized that before.
Yeah, there's a lot of indie studios, like Ubisoft is in Montreal. And yeah, there's just a lot. There's a big like scene of it out there pretty much. And so this guy Thierry, basically had this dream since he was 9 years old. He wanted to make a video game with a ninja, and he has like a doodle in his like notebook somewhere from that era of like a ninja holding a scroll, which was like exactly what ended up in the game that released in 2018. Like he's just been kind of holding on to that. And he's put in his time at other like servicing studios, just kind of doing like monkey work type of stuff. And
what's that?
So just like the okay, you know the one,
the monkey work.
Yeah,
like swinging around on bars.
yeah, pretty much like eating bananas.
Sweet.
Like they would go through so many bananas, you have no idea.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
And then eventually just got sick of that, and he wanted to start his own company and make his own games because he was tired of just getting just working with people that didn't have any passion.
He was tired of getting monkeyed around.
Yeah, exactly.
Boo.
Yeah. That's right. Good to get the sitcom boo sound effect.
I know.
We
had this thing like came with some stock sounds like our little, and it had like womp womp womp. But I changed them all to like my own sounds, so I should probably get those
death
back.
metal.
Yeah. I should get the sitcom boo.
Yeah,
that would
really
be great. Anyway, so as you were saying, sorry to interrupt you.
No, yeah. So basically, he just kind of took a leap of faith and started his own company with this other guy. And somewhere along the way, I've been writing chiptune music, which is like 8-bit music.
Yeah, we were checking it out. But yours is kind of like a metal infused chiptune.
Yeah,
it's like totally. Tech chiptune.
We were working out to it earlier today and dancing around. It rules.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot.
To me,
it's
I was
intense.
like, it's so obvious listening to your solo project that you would go into video games. It's like that's like obviously you should be doing that.
Honestly, like I had never even really considered that. Just starting out, like chiptune was just this thing that I discovered on MySpace, where I figured out that people were using their Game Boy to make music, and they would record like from the Game Boy. And there's a software that runs on the Game Boy, and it's like a sequencer. It's got like a sequencer, like a synth. I mean, you can write full songs on this thing.
Yeah.
But the appeal was like the limitations of it, because you only get 4 channels, and one of them is white noise.
Got it. But you're not doing it. You're not making that shit on a Game Boy, right? I mean, that sounds like full production to me.
Well, the game soundtrack was done in a different program on the computer, but it still is built around the limitations of the NES console, which has by default has 5 channels, and then there is the Japanese expansion that gave you an extra 3 channels. So I was leaning pretty heavily on those extra 3 channels, but the program is actually capable of producing a file that you can put onto a cartridge that you can play back on your Nintendo. And that's like exactly why I wanted to use that.
Wow.
So that's what you use for Rainbowdragoneyes? You make
well,
it like
so
that?
yeah, I'm kind of jumping around all over the place.
Okay,
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We're just, we have so many questions.
That's for the video game stuff.
Yeah. So the Rainbowdragoneyes stuff, that was like, I just discovered chiptune on MySpace, and I sent this artist that I found, I sent him a message asking how he did it. And he replied back with like, page and a half, like, so stoked to like that you're interested in this. And like, here's a link to the software. Here's a link to the hardware. Here's a link to some tutorials. Basically handed me the keys to the Lamborghini. I just had to learn how to drive.
Damn, that's so. Who did that? What's that guy?
It's an artist called Bit Shifter.
All right.
And he's from New York City. And there's a collective out there called 8-Bit Peoples, and they were like a net label, and they threw shows and fests and stuff like that.
Okay. Wow. So did you do that before you were in metal bands?
No, I didn't. But it was just sort of like, as a drummer, Naveen, I don't know if you know anything about drums or carrying
drums.
Bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So, it was just like I started. Yeah, I just started like doing it, and then eventually just started like playing shows with it.
Okay, that's I remember that.
Yeah, it was just like such a welcome thing to start doing, after lugging drums around all the time.
Not to mention you split the money one way. The guarantee goes in one pocket. So
totally.
Doesn't
so
hurt.
I mean, obviously not a lot, but still, it's all.
Hey, a lot one way is. I mean, a little one way is better than a little four ways.
Half of a watermelon is more the grapes or something.
Wait, so when you play shows with Rainbowdragoneyes, what do you use live?
It's all backtracks, and I do vocals.
Okay.
Wow.
So when a lot of people, and I have a Game Boy, the Game Boy actually triggers the solos. So like if I have a solo coming up, I'll have it queued up on the cartridge. I'll hit start, hopefully on beat, and then it'll play the solo.
Wow.
So originally it was just, I didn't even use that. It was because like a lot of like at Chiptune shows, they'll actually be using their Game Boy. There's like a live mode where you can sort of DJ your songs, like trigger patterns to come in on beat and all that stuff. But I never like really dove in.
I was wondering what the
delved.
Delved.
Dev.
Delve.
I never really
Dove?
Yeah,
Dutch.
It might be dove.
yeah.
Divot. Divot.
I never really divvied into the live mode of that program.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, when my old band, like the first time we went to Europe, we played and in Italy, and there was this kid who had a Game Boy, and he was doing kind of what you're talking about, but he would play. I don't know what he was doing live, but I think he opened the show or something like that. And then we were like, dang, that guy's super cool. Let's bring it. Because there was like no one there when he played. Yeah. So we were like, all right, dude, we're about to hook this guy up. And we brought him, we brought him up. Like when we played, it was like, we played like, I don't know, second or something. But there was like a lot of people there when we played. And we brought him out. And we were like, yeah, isn't this guy? And everyone was like, oh, man. Like,
this guy again?
Yeah, because he's apparently at like every show. So everyone after was like at the merch booth, like, you guys shouldn't have brought that guy on stage. He's super annoying, and he's at every single show. And like we thought we were like, because we were like, get ready for it. Like, Game Boy guy, hit it, you know?
Local hero.
Yeah.
Coming right up.
But everyone was like, oh, no, dude. But that was probably MySpace era. I mean, that was like 2007.
I wonder who that was because I probably know who it was.
Maybe. Yeah, I have no idea.
Is the world that small? The world of Chiptune that small that you would know?
It's a little bit scattered now, but it's definitely global. And there was a forum back in the day called 8-Bit Collective where sort of everybody came together.
Yeah.
And that one kind of dissolved. And then there was a couple others that popped up after that went under. And and I haven't like really necessarily been like a part of that scene in a while. I mean, I'm still friends with a lot of the people.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to ask, like if you're still working on that or if that's just kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I mean, I'm not like these days, like obviously Messenger soundtrack was demanded pure chiptune, and I got to be an elitist when it comes to making chiptune like the real way,
Yeah, of course.
Got it.
Just because like, yeah, I just can't stand all these like YouTube MIDI rips where they just find someone else's MIDI file.
Yeah.
And they run it through a free plugin and then they upload it to YouTube and they call it an 8-bit version and it gets thousands of hits.
Oh, totally. I've noticed
seen
a
some
lot
of those
of
8-bit versions and I'm like, they just found the Guitar Pro and then they just put it.
That's all
like,
it is.
They put it in like the initialized preset in Massive. Like that's what it sounds like. It just sounds like.
That's or even like not even Massive, like just some like free plugin on that they downloaded and like
8-bit freeware.
Yeah, it's like I mean, there's like pretty much everyone involved in actually making the stuff like properly is like very much against that, and that's just kind of like why I sort of like stuck to using the actual hardware. It just like meant more to me to do that.
I got you. I mean, it's more. I know what you mean because I have like a couple hardware sense myself, and it's just like more. I don't know. It's got more character, I guess you could say.
It's more real.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that even comes across on recording. You can tell what's real and what's not, and there's just a special feel to the stuff that's actually legit.
Yeah, and especially like for like the video game that was meant to look and feel retro, it's like I had to like follow the rules, to like get it to sound retro, and
what game is that you're talking about?
The Messenger.
Okay.
Came out in 2018. That was our first game. Thierry approached me in 2015 about it. He was like really nervous to like. I was playing a show in Quebec, and he had sent me a LinkedIn message apparently that I never got because who checks LinkedIn?
Oh yeah, no one.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
I didn't even know that people have those.
Canadians check it apparently.
yeah, people who do actual business, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe I should. Maybe I don't know if maybe I have one. Not sure. Do you have to sign up for it, or do you just have one?
I think you have to sign up
for it. Facebook or something.
Yeah.
How do you get one of those? I have no idea.
There's like my dream jobs waiting in there. It's like some huge studio. They're like, we need a house drummer.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, they chose LinkedIn as the way to contact you.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, but he sent me this message and I never got it. And so I never replied, obviously. And he was just like, well, that's that. I guess he's not interested.
Oh, Jesus.
Damn. And then, so we eventually linked up at the show, and he was like kind of like starstruck to meet me and like, hey, so I'm like, so it was sort of like started off all slow, like, so I'm like starting this game studio, and I was like, yes, I'll make your music. Yeah, he's like, oh, really? What?
Yeah.
Like, really? Yeah. I was like, yeah, why not? Let's go have a beer and shit. So
oh, totally. Was this a Rainbowdragoneyes show?
No, it was actually, I was touring with a pirate band called the Dread Crew of Oddwood.
Okay, I think you were doing that when we stayed at your house. You were
in
that band, maybe, and you were in Vale of Pnath.
And I know you were doing Rainbowdragoneyes when we stayed at your house, because that was that night when we stayed at your house, it was probably, Malcolm was in the band, I think 5 or 6 years ago. That was the day that my world became open to chiptune and this whole this whole scene that exists like outside of, I mean, because I pay a lot of attention to metal and all of the shit that we do, but you were just like talking about how you were making a living. I guess I didn't really realize at the time that it was chiptune, but you were talking about how you were making a living off of doing this project called Rainbowdragoneyes.
That and Airbnb, and also like all the other 8 bands I was in at the time. Like I was just, I was gone 9 months a year, and I just like, but
wow.
So you're in the same spot, I take it, in Colorado.
I'm actually I'm in Inglewood. Do you guys remember Moe's Barbecue?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. I'm like a half mile from there. So it's like south of the city.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's a really cool area, and like there's all kinds of cool shit, and of course it's all closed. But so I was stoked to move here. I moved here right before Summer Slaughter, which would have been almost 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, because the studio you're in kind of looks almost exactly like the studio that we stayed in. So it's hard to tell.
Oh, the same shit. The same shitty baffle that I should have thrown away a long time ago.
Yeah. All of my quote unquote studios look the same because they just have these panels that I made in them, and the wall's white. So it's just the same.
Same
vibe.
Studio everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you met him at a show, and then like what happened from there?
So yeah, he was just like, I was just thinking in my head, like, worst case scenario, this goes nowhere. I got to make a song and we gave it a shot.
Yeah.
And best case scenario is probably what happened, which is like it came out and a lot of people liked it.
That's awesome.
And so, and like won a bunch of awards and stuff, like no big deal or whatever, but it was.
Are these games on consoles or are they like PC?
Yeah, we launched on Switch and on PC, and now we're on every console with Messenger. And generally, I think smaller studios would probably try to focus on like one console at launch. I mean, it all depends, obviously, but for us at the time, like it was growing. It took it was like 3 years of development.
Wow.
And like the studio was growing little by little, and I think by the end there was maybe 12 people working on it. What was I saying? I forgot.
I can't remember.
Just working on the game that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's all. And the consoles and all that stuff.
So basically. So I did the one track for the prototype. And he was like, so actually like the appeal, or at least the idea, one of the mechanics in the game is that the hero time travels 500 years forward into the future. And so when he does that, you jump through this portal, the graphics, the audio, everything changes from 8-bit to 16-bit and like more of a Genesis or Super Nintendo style.
Totally.
That's cool.
And so yeah, so I started with just the one track, and then he was like, okay, so when we go to 16-bit, we'll need a 16-bit track. I was like, okay, I can do that as well. So I did that. And then for a while, it was just the two. And then, and they were just kind of working on it like nights and weekends style until it became like a full-time thing. And once it became a full-time thing, it was like, it started to flesh it out. And it was like, okay, so there's going to be 12 levels. So we'll need 12 tracks. I'm like, cool.
Sick.
And then by the end of it, we ended up with 59 tracks.
Wow.
Damn. That's a lot of tracks.
So when you're working with an amateur studio like that, and you're saying that it kept, more people kept getting hired and it became a full-time gig, is it similar to a startup company in which people are loaning money in order for the game to move along? Or how is money made before a game is released?
Right. So there's a couple of ways. First of all, the Canadian government actually can fund startups if you convince them that your product is worth funding.
Wow.
And so there was a little bit of funding from the Canadian Media Fund, I think it was called.
How much are we talking that Canada will give a startup?
Let's talk brass tacks here.
Let's talk brass tacks.
I mean,
are we moving to Canada? Yes or no?
Well, because a part of the thing, a lot of people who play music in America might not realize this, but if you are a well-known enough band in Canada, they will give you money for that as well. So it's like Canada is Canada is funding the arts in like a really awesome way that we just don't experience here.
Yeah, and a lot of the European countries do that too, I believe.
Yeah, and Australia. I know Australia's
pretty much every country except this one.
Except for us, all thanks to Piss Christ, that photo in the 80s. I don't know if you know about that, but that's when Piss Christ is this photo. I can't remember the photographer. It's on the tip of my tongue, but when that photo was taken, the American government pulled funding from the arts. That was like the final straw, because it's a picture of a Jesus Christ figurine in a bowl of piss. Wow. And that was when America had enough. The United States government
went too dang far.
Yeah, that's when we went too far, I guess.
Yeah. Huh.
Edge arts.
Yeah.
So are you going to like gamer conventions and shit? Like how we would go to NAMM or something like that? Or you're like into that?
Yeah,
scene?
there's PAX East in Boston, PAX West in Seattle, PAX South in Texas, which I haven't been to. Obviously none of these exist right now, but like we would do that, and like you basically pay to have a booth there. And so people walking around, they come check out your game, and that's kind of how you do like promo and stuff leading up to the release and all that.
Oh wow.
And after it comes out, maybe you don't really, it's not really worth it to like be there after, like too long after the game comes out, unless there's like a DLC or something, which is like add-on content.
Okay.
That so like we did a DLC which was like it was called Picnic Panic, and it was like surf themed and like beach and stuff, and so it was like it was just like extra, and we just like put that out as like a free download as a way to say thanks to all the players for enjoying it.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, we had like a booth. Our booth was all like tiki'd out and stuff, and we were wearing lays and sunglasses and like.
Oh, that's
fun.
Yeah,
that seems even cooler than NAMM.
Yeah, I mean, NAMM's like fine, I guess, but
have you been to NAMM a lot, Eric?
I've been to a couple. It's just kind of I'm usually like I'll go for like a couple hours, and then I'm like I'm good, and then there's 3 more days of it or whatever.
Oh God, me too.
Yeah.
Is it the same vibe where it's like there's too much happening at any given booth, and it's hard to like get into the booths that you actually want to be at?
Yeah, yes and no. Like there's definitely all the major, all the big boys, Nintendo and Sony and everything. There's always like they've got massive. It's just like in a convention center, So like they just got these huge booths, and just lines. You got to wait in line for a couple hours to play something for 15 minutes or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And
totally.
But it is cool, and there's like usually other stuff. There's like panels you can go to. And sometimes concerts and stuff like that.
Do you, when you play with Rainbowdragoneyes, do you play stuff like that?
I mostly just do my original stuff, just because I don't have a lot to do if there's no vocals going on. So
I think she's wondering
no,
if you
I mean
play
if you play
at
like
the convention.
at conventions.
Oh, I
Hit
see.
that
Yeah,
shit up.
I have. Yeah. Not in like, I guess in a couple of different ways. Like going back to like the chiptune community people, like they would usually get a room at the convention center, and then like just give them like X number of badges, and they're like, you guys can put on whatever you want to do in here, and then they'll get like a visualist set up, and then just have like everybody playing for each other, and like people wander in and
Yeah, totally.
that kind of stuff.
Sick.
Yeah, but I haven't really done any show where it was like part of the like programming or whatever. It was just like a part of something else that was already happening.
Yeah, totally. Like NAMM will have after parties, the Gibson party or whatever, and people play at that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
So what's going on with Nekrogoblikon?
Well, we got a new album coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Full disclosure, I heard a song.
Oh, you
Damn.
did?
Yeah.
Got a little
Okay.
sneak preview.
Because I was at Jason's.
Did it start with the letter P?
I don't know. I don't think he told me the title. He just
Okay, it
showed
might have
me
been that one. But
And it was
I'm-
way sick. I was like, damn, dude, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it should be pretty thick, man.
Yeah, it sounded great. Like the production was killer. The guitars sounded super clean. Did you record with Jason or did you do it somewhere else?
So yeah, I did. We did. So when we did the Chop Suey cover, I flew down there. I recorded Chop Suey and that other song that you probably heard.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was just the two, and like we were gonna do like a single type of deal, but then I think we just decided that we were gonna save it for the album.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't record a new album yet. You just did a couple.
I'm actually going to be doing that next month, I think. So,
nice.
Are you going to
it was,
Jason's again?
yeah, like basically, like we're recording drums last this time, which
Okay.
is not generally something that you do, but
Yeah.
like Nikki and Jason been going back and forth a lot with like the pre-production, and and Nikki's like rewriting a lot of stuff, and so it was just kind of like it's been in the works, like pretty much for I don't know, like I don't remember when they first flew out there, but they would go out there in shifts. Like Nikki would go out there for a couple of weeks and, work on like the pre-production with the scratch tracks and stuff like that. Then Alex would come down, record some guitar.
Yeah.
And I think he's going back next month to finish off the guitar stuff. And then I'm on deck.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, when we had Jason on the show, Alex was there.
Oh,
was
cool.
kinda-
Yeah,
he
that's
kinda-
right.
he kinda
Actually, I think I
sat-
listened to that
yeah.
on a flight.
Yeah,
He
sat
sat
in.
on the impromptu guest.
Yeah.
We call him. That was super cool. But yeah, recording with Jason was super fun. I went down there to do the Job for a Cowboy album, and it was a really
sick.
It was
Yeah, dude.
it was super fun. Apart from recording, everything else was really fun.
Yeah. He's so fucking funny, man. Like that dude. Like, I mean, I was obviously like, I was super stoked to meet him for the first time because like, crotch duster was a very important part of my musical upbringing.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Like,
yeah.
literally, the first thing I asked him was like, "So when's the new crotch duster?"
Yeah. That thing's probably like 20 years old at this point, right?
I think so.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's
But-
pretty fucking old.
Because I talk about my old band a lot because stories, but I remember hearing it like on our second tour,
Whoa.
and I was just like, man, this is so stupid. I hate this.
Yeah,
But now I can appreciate it. It's ahead of its time, I guess you could say.
totally. This is just so too goofy, man. But I mean, he was just like immediately, would just like he'd just be like saying weird shit to make you laugh and like just to really like break down the walls like right away and just make you feel comfortable and like so it's cool working with him.
Yeah, he's really, really cool. I really enjoyed working with him. And usually when I record, I have like a moment where I'll like be kind of mean. I unfortunately you know about that.
Yeah, we're gonna tell that story here.
Which I feel so bad about that, dude. Like,
dude, you
it's
really
just-
shouldn't. Like, I'm gonna
it's
remember
honestly,
for my life.
it's
for
like
sure.
I don't know if this happens to you. Like when I come off stage, I'm like a total lunatic, and I already have sort of an attitude anyway. But we'll get to that. But I didn't have a moment like that. But I was being kind of like, he could tell that I was a little bit like pissed.
Yeah,
And he was really, really cool about it. Like he was just like, all right, well, let's just go take a break, man. Like he was didn't even like go there.
just smoke hella dabs and watch Seinfeld.
Yeah. He was like, well, let's go inside for a little while, because he could tell that I was annoyed. So I was like, man, this is a good producer.
Yeah.
But the story was that, anyway, for those listening.
Tell us the story, guys. I know the story.
So Antheos was on tour with Nekrogoblikon.
Hold on. We should actually, this show was really crazy because I don't know if you remember this, but it might have been during our set or during the set right after us.
Yeah.
Like someone died.
A guy
in
died
the middle
at
of the show.
Yeah.
A guy died at this show, passed out. I can't remember what happened, but our merch guy at the time, Michael Fallis, he was studying to be an EMT, a paramedic. So
he is a paramedic.
He is a paramedic now, but he was studying on that tour. And when the guy, I think it was a guy, passed out, Fallis was like one of the first people there trying to give the guy CPR and getting him help. But I can't remember what had happened.
There was like definitely some like pre-existing condition thing there, and they had just like passed out, and the ambulance came, and yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, the person passed away. Rest in peace. That's really awful. But yeah. Then
so that was worse than my little outburst.
Yeah.
But so Eric was just, he was like, sometimes death metal drummers, they warm up with their pedals on the bass drum.
Yeah.
Right. And this just happened to be where his kit was like right next to the stage. So I could hear him warming up.
Yeah.
And in between songs, I was like, hey, man, stop, shut up. I can hear you. And I was like,
I have my fucking shits in.
Yeah. So I like threw a drumstick over there. Yeah. And I'm sure, obviously, you didn't mean anything by it. But I don't know. It just made me so mad. And like, after the show, I like ran onto your guys' bus and I was like, where's Eric at, man? And I was like, I was
going to die.
I was like,
did you really?
Fucking were like, I could hear you the whole fucking time. You fucked my setup. I was like, I mean, I'm so sorry. That was so out of line, dude. And I just feel so bad.
It was pretty extreme, but I didn't not deserve that. And I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life. But also I learned a hard lesson that day. And
I'm so sorry, man. It's
dude, like, honestly, like, I mean, it was just, I was just totally not even paying attention. I mean, I obviously didn't think that you could hear me, or I would not have been doing
obviously
that.
I mean, you're a nice guy, obviously, but I don't know why, just for some reason it was just, I don't know, when I get on tour, I'm tired and I'm just like,
that's your moment, and like, you just want
so I
get it.
I freaked out, because I'm usually pretty nice, but I have my moments where I freak out. And then I remember that night, like, everyone in your band was like being real nice to me, and I was like, oh, I'm such an asshole, dude. Like,
oh, dude, no, man, like, don't even, like, honestly, I mean, I feel terrible that.
Yeah. So anyway,
I made you do that essentially.
Not really. I mean,
but also,
I usually have a little freak out on tour like that every once in a while. That happens.
Well, then I'm honored that it was me.
Yeah, you were the freak out of that tour.
Before that, I freaked out on the guy from Mushroom Head. Remember that?
Oh, wait. This was one of our first shows, though. The guy from Mushroom Head, no offense, but he full on deserved it. Like,
okay.
Like, when like,
I'm trying to tiptoe around it, but really, he really deserved it. He was being a total drunk asshole to us while we were just being there, being like very calm in a circle and
probably
sober.
Entitled kind of shit.
No, like so we're at our van, like just kind of hanging out. It was at that Club Red in Phoenix, Arizona, where there's like two different sides, and he comes up like all drunk, and he thinks they're all big and stuff,
They were playing, okay, you know how Club Red has two different stages?
Yeah.
So they were playing the bigger stage, and we were playing on the other stage. I can't remember who with, but
anyway, he was just like, he comes up to the van, and he's like talking to somebody in our band, and I'm like, I don't like the way this is going, this is, and then somebody was playing guitar in the van, like, whatever, and he's like, oh, what's that? One of those Git fiddles, And I was like, hey, man, why don't you get the fuck out of here, dude? I just freaked out on him, and he was like, oh, all right, man, I'm out of here, Like, it was also kind of uncalled for, I guess, but
I don't.
So dick.
But
yeah, I mean,
he kind of sucked anyway, and it was honestly just kind of funny. Like, we were all just like laughing about it.
I mean, you know how it gets, man. It's like sometimes there are just people. Sometimes when people are super shit faced and no one else around them is drunk,
because we were all stone cold sober.
Yeah, we were,
so
and it was 3 o'clock in the
on
afternoon.
A bad day,
Yeah.
And it's like another thing for me is when people like come and they want to get up in our van, it's like, dude, don't do that. This is like my home. Okay. You need to get the fuck out of here.
My sanctuary.
Yeah. So again, I'm sounding like a jerk, but I guess I'm a jerk.
Well, it's funny. It's funny. I mean, it's not like you're a jerk 100% of the time.
No, it's like, I guess I'm thinking 90-10.
Yeah, it's probably definitely
right.
that.
But also, I think it's kind of good to have a jerk on tour. I don't know. I'm just saying. Someone's got to do it, right?
Jerks get shit done sometimes,
Jerks do get stuff done.
And it's not like you don't do stuff outside of being a jerk. You do a lot of stuff, and you're really good at it. So
thank you.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, dude, that video you posted where you like sampled all the guitar and you were triggering it off of the drum set.
Oh, thank you.
That's like the coolest fucking thing ever. I've been like dreaming of something like that, but then I saw your video and I was like, well, he did it, so that's good enough.
Dude, I have too, and like honestly, after I did it, I was like, all right, this is my calling. Like this is like what I'm gonna do. It's my, and then I haven't done it since.
We almost decided to make that our band because
we were like, dude, Cheney, should we make like an EP like this?
Yeah, we were like, let's do it. But we have
definitely do like some videos or something.
I know, because it's pretty like.
Do some videos. Don't quit your day job over the triggering thing.
Or whatever. I don't know. Shit.
I was pretty stoked on it because I did it in like a couple hours. It wasn't like some huge thing that I had been working on. It was just, I kind of had the idea, and we finally now have a place where I can play drums like all the time in our house.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, fuck, I'm going to do some stuff that I've always, wanted to try out. And then, I just did it like, I just cut up like a scale of notes and then I just put those in samplers and just randomized them,
Yeah.
And that's pretty much, and then I sort of like turned automated different samplers on and off to have like the different riffs.
Yeah. That's sick.
So
have you used Shreddage?
I have. Yeah. Those never sound like the way I want them to, you know what I mean?
Well, please elaborate. What is Shreddage?
Oh, Shreddage is a contact library. It's basically Easy Drummer for guitar.
Okay, that's okay. I know of the library.
The best one that I've found that I actually use quite a bit is called Real 8.
Real 8?
Yeah, and it's not.
8 string?
Yeah, they have. It's like real, so they have like real Strat, real, whatever, real 7, real. And I got the Real 8 one. I just like hounded them until they gave it to me.
Nice.
And it's really sick. I use it, like, I'll use it quite a bit. And dude, you can actually like, sometimes I'll take my like Guitar Pro shit demos and just throw it in there. And it's like, you have to go through and do the palm mutes, but
yeah, I mean, it's way better for like mock-ups and stuff because I don't play any other instruments. I mean, I can kind of like plink around on the keyboard a little bit.
Okay. But I was wondering if you played guitar. It seems like you got a pretty good handle on
it. Seriously, it seems like you're a guitar player.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just never got into it.
Yeah, I hear you. Guitar does suck. I mean, it's really fun to play like on the couch and stuff, but I don't know, being a full-time guitar, I don't know. And guitar players are just shot people. So
yeah. Like all the best ones I know, they're like, man, I wish I had played drums.
Dude, yeah.
Drums my mom couldn't give me a drum kit because it's too loud.
It is.
Yeah,
way
no,
loud.
That's exactly. I wanted to play drums. That's what I wanted to be when I was a kid, but my parents wouldn't get me. Well, first of all, it was too expensive, and second of all, way too loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way around it for me. My dad plays drums, so I kind of got lucky there. It's like he always had a drum set up. So
my dad was in the Marine band, played trumpet.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And, my mom is a pipe organist, also plays piano, and she's like choir director at her church.
Nice.
Actually recorded the piano and pipe organ on Vale of Pnath, the 2 album. There's like intros. Yeah, like piano intro and a pipe organ intro, and that's her playing at her church.
That is super sick.
I bet everyone figures it's just a VST.
Oh,
right,
yeah, I'm sure.
But it's like a fucking Zoom, recorder, and like her. And she had to play the, one of them was to a click, or maybe they were both to a click, and like not used to doing that, but I mean, she killed it,
Yeah,
does she have one of those like wood metronomes that has like the TikTok thing?
Dude, I don't know, but I actually have one. I found one at a thrift store.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude,
it's
my dad has one. He's like had it my whole life, but I don't know how you're going to get anything done with that on drums. I mean, it's like going to overpower it.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
I have like a practice pad kit upstairs in the living room. Like in front of the couch. So instead of relaxing, I'm just like on the practice pad kit, like watching TV or something.
Yep.
Smart.
And but it definitely looks sick, like up on like the on the mantelpiece there, you know.
That might be like a cool,
to watch
cool
as you
merch
walk
item, you know?
Yeah.
But also, I noticed, sorry to nerd out on you, you have a Sarsi Cropto pedal or whatever.
Sarsi
Yeah.
Copto?
How'd you pull that one? How'd you manage that, dude?
Why?
I'm jealous.
Is it? Is it a very special pedal?
They're a boutique Polish brand of they're like the heaviest pedals in the entire world. Basically, it was the Rings of Saturn tour. It was Rings of Saturn, Necro, Mental Cruelty, and Harbinger.
Oh, it was in Europe.
In Europe,
Okay.
yeah. So I actually had them shipped to the first day of the tour.
Got it.
And I didn't bring any other pedals. I'm like, I'm getting my new pedals. I don't need a backup.
All right.
Like,
and
if
do
they
you like
suck-
it?
I liked them a lot. I mean, I came from Axis land,
Got
and
it.
Axis is like the lightest pedals in the world.
Uh-huh.
And then I got the heaviest pedals in the world. So there's a little bit of getting used to there. But, you know, Necro is not like a tech death band.
Right.
So, like, you know, it was pretty manageable. Like, I feel like if we played a lot faster shit, I would have been pickier and maybe brought like another set.
Well, a lot of fast guys use those. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. But I mean, I was just so used to the Axis, you know,
Right.
but I tried them a long time ago. I was touring with Swashbuckle, and that was my first time in Europe was with Swashbuckle in like 2012 maybe or something like that, or 13. And this was when they were still on Nuclear Blast. And we played Summer Breeze, and we played a few other festivals, and we did some clubs in between. And Decapitated was also on Nuclear Blast.
Right.
We ended up playing, and Krim was in the band then.
Yeah.
And he had those, and so we ended up playing like 3 or 4 shows in a row with them, just at these clubs. And he actually let me use his pedals for one of the shows because we were like nerding out and talking about them and stuff. And it was definitely like something different, but it was just like sticking your feet in butter, man.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
it was just like,
I just want them because they're like rare.
yeah, and they look sick, and I
They
got
look
them
super
engraved
cool.
with
Yeah.
my Basset Hound's face engraved on the
Okay.
foot plate.
Like-
Oh, that's awesome.
Like Cheney, they don't sell them. Like you have to like fill
They
out
don't
a
even-
form
yeah.
on the website
Oh, really?
and get them ordered. And then there's something about getting shit shipped from Poland to here. It's like
So
can't do
well,
it.
they actually can't even sell them in the States because of patent infringement with Trick.
Oh,
Because
really?
some of the-
Really?
Yeah, some of the components are like technically infringing on their patent, but only in the U.S.
No, I want one even more.
That's
Straight up.
interesting.
Dude, I mean, it was like an eight month process,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
were shipped to the venue maybe a week before the show. Like,
Wow.
and I was like, I mean, because there's like a queue and all that shit,
Right.
and working out the engraving stuff, and but you know, so I had just opened up the dialogue long ass time
Got it.
before.
So you
and
got
then-
the shirt and the case and all that stuff, stickers, the extra stuff.
yeah, the sick road case. Fucking dude brought like 50
I'm such a fucking nerd.
lanyards and
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are hella cool, man. So how much was it? It was like $1,200. Was it $1,200?
1,200 euro, I believe.
Damn.
Oh, $1,500.
Yeah.
It's close. It was like probably like 1,400 US, I think.
I don't know. That's just, and they're also like metal. Like
Well,
their
I
logo
don't-
has like a pentagram in it. So it's like,
Dude,
you know what I mean?
the translation means the devil's hoof.
Oh, fuck yeah. Now,
Yeah, it's like,
I want them.
I just want one. I look at them on Instagram. I follow them and stuff. And like, I send them an Instagram message like, hey, you know, I don't know if you guys would, and this is, no,
Yeah.
they didn't respond, but
They're like,
Oh
fun.
man, I mean, honestly, like, I mean, aren't you like Polish or part?
I am.
Polish?
I am part
He
Polish.
is, that he is.
I don't know if that's going to get me in though. I don't know
Hey,
if that's-
everyone, I'm
You're
Polish.
in the club then. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I would reach out to him again. Maybe it was through email. I was talking.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
who-
sure I
was
could
it-
work something out. I just,
If you could get
I
them
didn't
to
even
reply.
try because I don't think I'm famous enough. But I was just like, I needed new pedals,
yeah.
and I had been thinking about these for years, and I finally just like pulled the trigger, and you know, and that was that.
I think this is the first time
So-
we've talked about drum
so you
gear
say-
on the show.
I don't think
'cause-
it is because we've had a lot of drum with Alex.
I know.
think
Usually we
talked
don't talk about
quite a
drum
bit.
gear,
We
but
kinda
this I
But-
have to talk about.
But
this.
just out of curiosity, you say they're
Kind of
the
a big deal.
heaviest thing. I know what Axis pedals, like Axis pedals are very thin.
Yeah.
And when they hit, it's like feather weight. But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what's different about these pedals? Like the mallet, is that what it's called? The
Beater.
The beater.
Yeah.
I only fuck with the
mallet.
drums. I don't know anything
mallet.
about them. I'm a vocalist, everyone. So whatever.
That's fine. I mean, tomato, you know? Yeah, no, like they're literally like in the case, I think they're like 35 pounds.
I didn't
Holy
know that.
shit.
I did not
What?
know that. I did
Yeah.
not know
Those
that.
Axis pedals have to weigh maybe 10 pounds, right?
Yeah, if that.
That is
maybe.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
So
just really thick. I mean, they're just really well manufactured, and it's just they're just so smooth. Like the left feels identical to the right, and
Yeah.
that's like pretty rare with doubles.
Yeah, I just feel like you bust out those at a show, and it's just like those who know. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? It's like you see the pedals.
well, it's
you know,
obviously
what's
a
about to
statement
happen.
because I don't even know where Naveen saw this pedal of yours. At
Well,
all.
I'm on my drum group on Facebook.
Oh, you're in the drum group, Eric.
No, I don't think he is.
Oh.
I saw him on his Instagram today.
Oh, got
Yeah.
you. Got you.
Oh, okay.
But I'm in like a nerd metal drummer.
Metal
group.
drummer nerds worldwide.
Oh, you both know.
I lurk in there, dude. I'm in there answering questions and shit. Like
I
no one's
only
business.
lurk and do. I don't honestly. The only thing I see on Facebook is Simpsons board posting.
Really?
Anymore. That's the only thing. I have a plugin that actually deletes the news feed on my browser on my desktop.
What?
Computer. Yeah, it's a plugin for Firefox called Newsfeed Eradicator.
That's sick.
And it's just like a JavaScript thing, and when you open Facebook, the news feed just isn't there, and it's replaced with like a randomized inspirational quote. So anytime I like log in to do something, like maybe talk some shit or write something about fluid or whatever dumb shit.
yeah,
I'm up
your
to.
posts. I'm a huge fan of your Facebook posting.
Oh
by the
God,
way.
I can't believe you actually see
I
that
love
shit.
it. Oh, I do. But I'm about to get Facebook newsfeed eradicator, so
It's
I'll
great,
never see
honestly.
it again.
The only problem is it's not on mobile. So
That
and
is
I
a
don't
problem.
I don't have the app installed on my phone. So anytime I'm checking Facebook on my phone, it's through the browser, and I feel like they purposely make it shitty to get you to download the app.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're like a anti-social media guy.
I mean, I don't know. It's such a weird. I just can't take it seriously, and I go through these phases where I'm like, I should really dial this in and like maybe make some videos or something, and then like 30 seconds later, I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm just gonna like talk about eggs or something else. Just say something random and stupid.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know who the fuck is on there anymore. It's like it was like my friends at first. Then all these people started adding me, and then I stopped approving them. And then every now and then I'll just go through and approve everybody, and then instantly I get like 100 more friend requests. I'm like, who are these people?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what happens to me? Like, I'll be like, all right, I should probably approve some people because I don't really pay that much attention to all that side of Facebook.
The friends.
Or I'm
the
like, oh, my
adding
friends are like down to 4,400. I can go approve like 600 people. But I start having like a moral dilemma because I'm like, all right, well, do I scroll all the way down, right?
To see if it's someone that you know. I feel
No, scroll
never
to
anyone
the
you
first come,
It's
first
never
serve
anyone you know.
situation though, right? Because it's like I did this the other day because usually I just go, all right, I'll just approve, and you start at the top, right?
Yeah.
Well, the top are the most recent requests.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started scrolling down. Dude, there's requests in there from 5 years ago. and I approved it. And I'm like, this person might not even want to be friends with me
Yeah,
anymore.
Never mind.
Yeah.
They're not a fan.
Like I
No
kept
longer
on
a fan.
scrolling and scrolling, and I was like, fuck, we're getting down to like 4 years. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But then you get to a point where I'm like, all right, approve. And then it's like, I'll be doing that, and then it'll be like, oh, your friend request was sent, right? And I realize that I'm like not in that, and I'm in the people you may know.
Yeah.
And I've just requested to be friends with like 100 people that I don't even want to be friends.
I know, it's like
and then
you're
I'm
on
like,
there.
oh God, I can't undo it. I don't even know what I just did.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's
these people
embarrassing.
they message me, why do you want to be friends with me? You know,
It's
that kind of thing.
totally embarrassing.
I'm
Yeah.
like a dad on Facebook, dude. It sucks.
Yeah.
You sort of are. Sometimes I have to tell you like how to post things and how, how to
make it public.
But
you gotta
honestly,
make it public.
honestly,
That's the
I feel
thing.
like I'm getting a little too old for all social media because it just advances at such a rapid rate that I can't keep
know.
up with it anymore. It's the same
Yeah,
as
like, I mean, it's there, it's like you got to use it for your shit. But I don't know. It's not worth putting any real honest thought into, I think.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
It's also not worth putting any emotional stake into.
Definitely not.
That's the thing that,
no emotion whatsoever.
people need to realize. Don't ride any sort of fulfillment in there.
I think that's the issue with people in social media. They put a lot of their self-worth in social media, especially in what we do, because
they think their social identity is their real identity.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like, there is this thing where it's like, if you post stuff, you think of it as, okay, I'm getting my stuff out there, I'm getting my band out there, and more people are going to listen to me and what I do. But then it's like, there are other ways to achieve that as well. Social media isn't the only answer. But I mean, you're how old are you?
36.
Okay, yeah. So you were around back in the day when it was like, we actually just went on tour. We toured for people to know who we were. So switching over. Yeah, MySpace, man. So switching over into this world of like, you have to be known on the internet in order to be known in real life. And, it's sort of weird. And I feel like a lot of people invest their worth in like all of these numbers, this weird.
The thing that's gross to me is when people do that, but they don't actually make or do anything. They're just like they're trying to grow their following on what, like selfies and nails or something, like hair
makeup and hair color and body.
But it's just like, and you're just like on your phone all the time, and like that's your life. Like, is that what is that what you want?
I know.
Like,
I don't know. I do post a lot. Like over the last couple months, I've been making videos and stuff, but I just do it. I just look at it like another way to be creative. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Like I'm just like, what? I think this video, like I have fun with it. It's like, I'm like, oh, this video is sick. And then I think it's cool. And that's really the main component for me.
And there's definitely something to like, just thinking about how each platform is different and then tailoring the same thing in like 5 different ways for each platform or whatever. Like, I don't know. There's definitely like some kind of satisfaction that goes along with like figuring that out.
Totally.
Or even not figuring it out, but just making it an attempt.
Yeah, I agree. But I could totally, I go through phases where I'm like, all right, fuck this. I'm never posting again.
Me too. I do the same thing that you were talking about. I go back and forth between, okay, I'm going to like post a lot of stuff that's like me screaming and stuff. But honestly, I don't, beyond this podcast, I don't share a lot of my personal life in Instagram or Facebook. It's all band related. And I'm not sure if I
mean, it's like it's hard to say that if we weren't in bands that we would even be interested as much in even having accounts, maybe. I don't know.
No, I don't think I don't think I would, honestly.
It's literally the least fun thing about doing music or creative shit is like trying to figure out how to like filter it through these websites in order for people to like see it.
True.
I mean, there's definitely like a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
For virality or whatever, even just.
Yeah. I mean, and there is just the fact that it is a part of being in music now.
Is what it is.
I guess it just is what it is. But I always liken it to, I'm sure there was a point in time where people felt that way about going on tour, right? It's like,
maybe
going on tour, you're going to leave your hometown. What's that about? You know? So I don't know. You have to adapt to an extent. But I think it's important to not get like I'm not caught up in it where I'm like going to go lock myself in the bathroom for 3 hours if I don't get like X amount of views on my video.
That's what I think the real problem is I'm down to post videos of myself, but putting my self-worth, placing my self-worth and how many likes or views I get on my videos or compared to how many likes or views.
That sucks.
It's just a total waste of life. I mean, it's
brutal.
There's so much else. And I feel like when you do that, you're taking away from your art. You're taking away from the things that you should be investing
any amount
your time
of time you spend ruminating over all this stuff is time spent away from doing something of actual value.
Exactly.
And when you get down to, if you keep following the road of like, oh, I got more and more views, well, then you start getting down to stuff that just straight up sucks. Because that's the, most stuff that gets a lot of views, it's like
you're
something
creating
stupid
stuff for the algorithm as opposed to for what is correct for you.
Yeah, for the love of the music.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's about? Isn't it
It's
about
all
the love of music?
dude.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't
peace
know
and
if it
love.
is anymore. I think it might be about like
It's about the likes, actually. Let's be
about the
honest.
likes. Yeah, the likes. Definitely.
The
very
love
weird.
reacts is what
Hair
it's
reacts, yeah, for sure.
about. Care.
But I mean, like in the MySpace thing, it was
It was all about the hair in MySpace. All about the bangs.
like I guess you just had you had one song on there. That was like the content, right? Just like a song.
So from what I remember about MySpace, you could have a couple of songs in your player. I don't know if you could put like a whole album in your player or not. So you had a couple of songs and then you had a top 8. And it was just, you would get plays on and have friends add you on MySpace. It wasn't really as deep as it is
There
now.
wasn't a news feed either, right? It was just you had to go to
There was
people's
a
pages.
bulletin board.
Yeah. It was a bulletin board.
Yeah.
And the bulletin board, did people reply to it? I can't really remember.
I can't remember what it was like at all. That's
I
where I'm
think
at.
you could like maybe send him a message or something like that. I don't really remember.
I don't
Do you
either.
guys know about I think it's called Hey Space or Hey Friend or something? It's somebody made like a MySpace clone.
I heard of that. I have heard of that.
I'm gonna look it up. I think it's called Hey Space. Wait, no, it's not called Hey Space. That's something else. The
Hate space.
Hate.
yeah, it's Hate Space.
I remember that Justin Timberlake, I think, bought a part of MySpace.
Sure
like
did.
recently, yeah. Because they
Oh,
were
that's
trying to
Space Hey, that's what it's called. Sorry.
face bait.
Space Hey, as in
Space hey.
Oh, space. Hey.
And it's
It's
basically like the old MySpace?
yeah, it's designed to look exactly like retro MySpace,
And
but
you-
it's an actual social media site.
Okay.
So we should get up on that.
I might
Oh,
have
yeah.
to get up on there, dude.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
the 3 of us will be the only people on that site,
Yeah.
and then we'll just post
fucking
things to
crush
each
it.
other. Yeah,
We get it now.
Like I can't be
we're
on,
gonna
I
be
can't-
the Dane Cook of the Hay Space. Because Dane Cook got
Yeah,
famous because of
MySpace
MySpace.
comedian.
Yes, MySpace comedian.
Oh, is that true?
100%.
Damn, I did not
Yeah,
know that.
no, I've listened to a few podcasts as of late with Dane Cook, like recently, and he was just on MySpace 24 hours a day, like sending out requests and adding people, and
Reply
that's
to people. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, speaking about podcasts, what was that like getting all kinds of talked about on Joe Rogan?
I know you got, dude. When
Oh, yeah,
when
that.
I'm just gonna say when I personally, because I was listening to it live, or when it aired, and when I heard it, I like had to rewind it like 3 times to be like,
Yeah, you're
is
like, what is
Post
this real?
Malone talking about
dude, I was
Nekrogoblikon
like,
right now?
oh yeah, like we did it, and that's not even my
I
band.
definitely got a lot of texts. One of them was from my sister, who I guess finally figured out that I'm actually doing something with my life.
No, that's definitely that's the way to find out. Like you
Yeah.
just got mentioned on fucking Joe
By
Rogan.
Post
Kidding, Emily,
Malone.
if you're watching, I'm just kidding.
By Post Malone.
Yeah,
Wow.
but
So
he
what-
did think that John was the singer.
He
You
did.
know.
He did.
And then a lot of people looked us up and they're like, "Hey, Goblin's not the singer. Fuck this band."
But you know what? You know what John does do is is it called Hey Now? What's it called? Right Now with John Goblikon. I watch that shit religiously.
Nice.
No joke. I'll log onto it like when I'm at work. I'll be like, I'm just gonna go watch
Pretty good.
John Goblikon videos all day, dude. It's so good. It's so good.
It's gonna come back. It's not done, but it will be back eventually.
Amazing. Because I mean, I'll sit and watch the interviews over and over because I think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, there were some good ones. He's quite the character, that guy.
Yeah, I mean, and Jerry. I don't know who the fuck Jerry is. If his name
Well,
is
Jerry's just Jerry, you know.
his name really Jerry?
I don't know, probably.
So what's this that you guys are talking about for those who don't
Okay,
know?
so
Oh yeah.
this is basically an interview show, a Q&A that John Goblikon does with people in bands and actors and things like that, and it's called Right Now with John Goblikon, and it's fucking hilarious.
It's on
and he's
YouTube
got
and
a
stuff?
sidekick
On
named
YouTube,
Jerry.
Yeah. We there was during Warp Tour, we filmed like 10 episodes in just like little like 2-3 minute videos or 5-minute videos or whatever. Because Warp Tour, like fucking 64 or whatever bands were there.
Yeah.
And so we just started like pulling people in, and we got the Used and a couple guys from Every Time I Die.
Yeah, I saw
And the Twisted Dudes, which are so sick, by the way. I'm like part
yeah.
juggler now
Yeah,
after
yeah.
rocking out with them.
Are you like chill with the Twisted Dudes now?
Yeah, absolutely. Like they wanted to tour with us and everything, and We we couldn't line it. It might happen eventually, but
that's awesome. That's something that's so cool about Nekrogoblikon too, is that I feel like you guys could go on tour with almost anyone on Earth.
It's like we don't fit in anywhere, and so we fit in everywhere.
It's totally true. Totally true.
Definitely true.
But we definitely are all about like being the sore thumb on like real metal tours, you know what I mean? Like with you guys and Rings and like, you know, all that shit. Like that was a fun ass tour we did with fucking band.
Really good tour.
It was so fun.
That was a really
It was so fun. That was the first time I knew about Nekrogoblikon, and I was like hooked. We listened on the drive home from that tour. Naveen and I listened to Welcome to Bonkers a few times, and it was just like,
it's really good.
Dude, this album. I normally hate like funny, goofy music. I seriously fucking hate it. But there's something that's so well done about Nekrogoblikon. It's like just really well written, and I don't know. It's just so good.
Well, it's like obviously people only show up because John's going to be there, and we've accepted that.
Do you think that's true?
Well, I think initially. I mean, not really. Okay, sure, it's a little of both. Whatever.
Well, one thing that I will say is that there was like a line of people there to meet John, and I was just like, wow, these guys are really lucky because they can go and drink beer while whoever's John is like there suffering.
Have you guys been to Black Sky Brewery? Shout out Black Sky Brewery, Denver, Colorado. Okay, next time you're in town,
I want to go right now.
You'll take us.
You gotta go. It's the heavy metal bar. All the metalheads in town go there.
All right, you're taking us.
Is it open right now or is it closed right now?
It's open right now.
Oh
shit!
How long does it take to get
in danger of closing, but they're open as fuck. And I was there last night, and there was a guy there wearing a Necro hoodie, and I sat right next to him, and I was just talking to like some other people, and then eventually, and we were just talking about metal and shit, and like somebody brought their Bluetooth, and so I was playing the new Brand of Sacrifice, which by the way is fucking crippling. New Brand of Sacrifice.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Sick. Yeah, I need to listen to it.
Checked it out. Yeah.
So this guy with the Necro hoodie on, we were just talking about metal and shit, and then finally I worked up the courage to ask him where he got his hoodie. And he was like, "Oh, I got it at Summer Slaughter. Yeah, it was a sick show." I was like, "Yeah, man, hell yeah, that was a sick show."
Yeah, you're like, I was there.
And then somebody, I was like, "Yeah, I was there. That was a fun show." And somebody else kind of like threw me under the bus, like, "Do you know he's the drummer?" And he's like, "That's where I recognized you." It took like seriously 2.5 hours.
Like, wait a minute, you're not the Goblin? All right.
And this happens. I tweeted this the other day where I literally be going to the grocery store wearing my Necro hoodie. Someone's like, "Hey man, nice hoodie." Be like, "Thanks," and that's the whole interaction.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
I've done that a bunch of times.
What?
Yeah.
Just like being in previous bands and someone will say something about it.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, it's super sick. Like, have you heard Animals? It's like, yeah, they're super good. They're super sick, man. Or no, I was like, when I did jujitsu, a kid there was like talking to me about Animals.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yeah, they're pretty good.
Good band. I
was like, yeah, they're pretty cool. But then I was wearing a the Audio Tree shirt.
Oh yeah.
The next time, and he was like, "Where'd you get that?" And I was like, "Oh, I played Audio Tree." And he was like, "What?" So I don't even want to know what happened if I would have told him that I was in Animals, you know, because he was freaking out about the Audio Tree thing.
Oh yeah. You gotta. I love being incognito personally.
Yeah, me too. I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, by the way, I was." You know.
Oh, did you know? Do you have any idea who I?
Because then I have to talk about it, and I just definitely don't want to talk about it.
It's harder for me.
I gotta go buy some eggs, dude. Like,
yeah, it's very hard for me to be incognito. If someone knows about our band, they might know what I look like.
The face of the band, literally.
Yeah.
The singer.
Yeah. I mean, even on tour, it's like the rest of my band can get off stage and no one knows who they are at all. But you know, since I'm like one of 10 women at the metal show most of the time, it's like, all right, she looks like the one that was on stage. That's her.
It's great,
dude. Zoot, our bass player, he sells the merch most tours. He's the merch guy.
Yep.
And we'll get off. He'll get right off stage, go right over to the merch, sweating profusely from the show as you do. And somebody goes up to him like, "Hey, is the band gonna be here?"
And he's like, "I don't know."
He's like, "I don't know, maybe. Want to buy a shirt?" Like, literally just watched us play,
dripping in sweat,
and it doesn't recognize him.
That's important. Like, that's something that I think people should realize if they do something stupid or whatever, like in a band online or whatever. It's like nobody knows like anything about you Like they don't even know when they see you on stage, and because you look different from on stage to over there.
Yeah,
like I remember
much cooler
when I was
stage.
in Animals, I got like people would recognize after because like I was Animals doesn't have a singer, so like the drums are kind of forefront, and people would. I'm not trying to brag, but people would recognize me. So I didn't.
3-piece too, and you're like right in the middle there.
Yeah. So I would get stopped a lot, and I was like, I have an idea, and I got a hat and like non-prescription glasses.
Nice.
And dude, when I would wear that, I would never get stopped.
I mean,
never.
We
Clark Kent.
We
dude.
saw Circus Survive play at this huge
Mild-mannered.
like arena in Mountain View, and our friend Steve is the drummer of Circus Survive, and we were walking around with him after the show, and no one knows that it's him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, it's like band members can go pretty incognito. I'm
should tell him to get a
goblin.
goblin.
Yeah, get a goblin. No,
that was our thing on Warped Tour, and be like, just talking to other bands, like, oh, what color is your goblin? You know, like every band has a goblin, but it's
like you just assume that everyone has a goblin.
Right, exactly.
What's up with your goblin?
Yeah. Well, when's your guys' goblin getting here? Because ours is he's suiting up.
Yeah, ours is like the superstar of Warped Tour right now, and yours should go over there.
That's
and steal
hilarious.
I love that. He won Prom King at Warped Tour. John Galvacon did.
Of course. Who else would have won?
Come on.
Who was on Warped Tour with you? Like
The Used, apparently.
Davey Havoc.
Other people.
Oh, the Used.
So, what year did you guys do Warped Tour?
What's that?
I think.
Was it like somewhat recent? I guess Warped Tour isn't a thing.
2018.
Okay.
2018. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it must have been like one of the last ones, or the last one, maybe.
It was the last one.
Wow.
Well, the last national one. So they did like a couple of satellite shows, like
Warped show.
Yeah, I'm bad with dates. 2017. No, it was 18. It was 2018.
There's no way I would ever know what year anything I've ever done is in. Straight up.
Yeah, exactly. Unless there's flyers. They don't always put the year on the flyer, though.
I know. They really never
don't.
do. And I try to look it up sometimes, and I'm like, well, that doesn't fucking help me.
Especially if it's a one-off show flyer, they rarely put the date or the year or the city.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
The way that I determine how basically everything in my life happened is when what was that?
The song kick listing for bands in town.
Yeah. No, the way I do it is just my estimating goes by when Animosity broke up.
Nice.
So I'm like, all right, we broke up in 2008, and it was probably 1 year before that, so it's probably 2007. Yeah. That's how I do it.
Like that's the center, point of reference.
That's just like I remember that when that happened.
That's literally the only year that you remember.
Yeah.
Do you remember a venue? I remember watching you guys when I lived in Nashville. Do you remember a venue called The Muse?
Of course. It's a Domino's now. Did you know?
Yeah, it's a Domino's.
Pizza now.
You know what's weird is when I was doing merch on Naveen's one of your last tours. No, it was the first Animals headliner that I was doing merch on. Yeah. That was like a show at the Muse, and I think that the next year it became a Domino's. That was like one of the last shows there, so I got to see it.
I can't believe that they would serve food in that building.
I'm assuming they gutted it.
That was the most disgusting part. Is that
they gutted it? Like I feel like they would have had to bulldoze the whole thing. I don't know.
I totally.
So anyway, what about the Muse? What?
I mean, I was just remembering seeing you guys back then.
Are you from there?
I'm not from there. I'm from Maryland originally.
Oh, okay.
Let me do the quick origin story here.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hear it.
Not a lot of people know this, but I'm from Maryland originally, Silver Spring, which is like right next to DC.
Mm-hmm.
I know where that is. I know where that is.
And Tosin was actually a mutual friend of one of my friends, and I tried out for Reflux back when they had 2 singers.
Okay.
They had 3.
Yep.
Then they had the 2, and then it was just Ash.
Wait. So did you try out after Steve from Circa, who I was just talking about, left? Or wait, no, he tried out. Was he in Reflux?
No, Steve was in Reflux. He might have started with Reflux.
And he left, and then that's when you tried out?
Yeah, so it's probably in between that. But I was like 18, 19 years old, and I didn't have a clue what was going on. Wow. But they came over to my mom's house in my basement, and we jammed some songs. And I was like, so are we going to make money on tour?
And they were like, we're out of here, dude.
Yeah, fuck this guy.
Ash was totally cool. He's like, probably like you'd be lucky to break even actually, but he was very like polite about it, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And like but I don't know, it's just a little fun fact there. And then I kind of like checked out for a while, and then I come back and Animals as Leaders is this massive band. I was like, oh shit, I know that guy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you're from Silver Springs. All right.
Oh wait, because I didn't even tell Naveen what you told me the other day, which is that you used to work with Jibon.
I'm pretty sure it was the same guy.
Well, that's why. Yeah, she told me that, and I was like, well, how the fuck does he know Chibon?
Who is who else is named Chibon?
His name is John Littlefield.
Yeah, he's like short guy, black hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
That was the
He
guy.
looks
Crazy.
kind of like the guy who was in all those Apple commercials back in the day.
Oh yeah, Justin Long. Yeah,
he looks like
does
kind of like
kinda-
that guy.
That guy, totally did. That
So-
was 100% him.
So
Yeah,
where
we
did
were-
you work with him at?
It was Chuck Levin, Washington Music Center.
Okay. You know, Alex Rudinger worked there too.
Yeah,
That was probably after your time because he's like
probably after. I worked there like right after high school.
So are you like 35 or something like my age?
36.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See,
I
Alex
graduated
is like
high school.
really young. He's like 10 years younger than me or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not that much, but
Yeah, I worked there for 4 years, something like that.
that's crazy.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. So
Yeah.
you knew like Tosin and stuff, or
I mean, not very well, but like I said, we had a mutual friend, and like I've seen Seven Locks. I feel like played a show with Seven Locks. And what was his other bands? Like PSI was one, I think.
PSI. Okay, PSI. Javier was in that.
Spice.
Javier was in PSI.
Was he the vocalist?
He was the vocalist.
Yeah. Okay, I've seen.
Javier Animals, Javier.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
vocalist.
Yeah, he was in PSI, and so was Dave Lozano.
Yeah, on drums.
Yeah.
And he was like the dude. He had the double kick drum, and I thought that was the coolest. Like no one had that,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
See, double kick drum to me was like, I don't know. I've always been like somewhat of a hipster. Like I'm always like, why, dude? That's stupid. Like I hate
All
it.
right,
I used
all
to
right,
play double
fight.
kick with my Pearl Export 2
Now-
kick drum.
You don't play double kick now.
Well, I've played double pedal. I don't have 2 kick drums anymore.
Well, yeah, but okay. So the argument for 2 kick drums is that they sound different, right? Is that there's a,
They
a
certainly
variation
could,
in sound.
like they're not tuned identically.
That's the
you know?
downside, in my opinion. Like, when you see a band who's got 2 kicks and they're not triggered, it's like, this sounds
Yeah.
terrible.
But it just looks sick too.
It does
you know,
look super
Dude,
sick.
it looks
I wish
so
that I had
sick.
have like got, because the drum set that I have now, like they don't make that one anymore. And I wish that I had just been like, you know what, dude, I'm gonna need like one of every size, straight up, bro. I'm gonna need 2 kicks. I'm gonna need like 8 to 18 toms.
Yeah.
I should have just fucking at least tried to get it.
Yeah, gone Terry Bozzio with it.
And I thought I was being like, putting out the move, like, all right, I'm getting 4 toms. That's crazy, but because now I'm kind of like, dang, it's a double. Because my mom is always like, she's always bummed that everyone else's drum set is bigger than mine.
Yeah, she sounds like she's like this. She's like,
Wow.
I just want to see Naveen up there with a big drum set, finally bigger than everyone else's.
Yeah, she's always mad. Like,
Their drum set.
Yeah,
How
what-
come yours doesn't look like that?
Yeah.
because I'm
Like,
always like on the
why
little
doesn't
like
it rain?
jazz like 4-piece, and every other metal drummer's got like the array of like.
Yeah.
So she's like, what the fuck's going on here? My kid's getting like shafted.
She judges
How
success.
come they didn't give you one?
Yeah.
She literally said this like 2
Naveen,
weeks
why
ago.
won't they let you up there
Yeah.
play that big drum?
Or like,
kit?
because we're not the headliner, so we're not on the riser,
Right.
So like, we're not on the riser, and I don't have a huge kit.
That's
It's
how
like,
she measures our success. Like, we were telling her some good news a few weeks ago, and she's like, well, is Naveen gonna be up there on that drum riser? She
total-
only cares about
total mom stuff.
that. What is your mom? Does your mom? How does she view what you do?
Oh, she's all about it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, she's way down. And I love like getting to bring them backstage, and when they come out to the shows and stuff. Like Warped Tour was the coolest
Oh,
for
I
that
bet.
reason. It was just like huge crowds, and I have my parents are split up and remarried, so I felt like Mrs. Doubtfire, kind of like going back and forth between my different families.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
But it was called like they're all fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's just like that's just how we did it. I did it, I guess.
No, I
But-
get it. There's actually, there's
and
also
then-
a Friends episode about that exact same topic.
Yeah.
Well, because I guess in the parents are usually like at odds. Is that the deal? The
I think
parents
that's
don't
the
get
deal.
along.
Yeah, like they're fine. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just like it's awkward for me if they're hanging out together.
Oh,
So
really?
Yeah, my parents have been split up my entire life, so and they're always like cool. So it's,
Well,
I've never thought
his
anything
parents.
of it.
I feel like your parents have like a lot of history that they can talk about because your parents were Hare Krishna together, and their new
So
partners
they're
are
all-
not.
Yeah.
So they have like this nostalgia. I feel like they were like, but Naveen's
cool.
parents get along really well. My parents
They're
are
fun.
still together. I don't experience this, but yeah, I imagine it would get weird. But dude, that is cool. It's always
they're probably listening to this, so sorry to put you guys on blast.
yeah. You love them. You love them just the
no,
same.
of course.
But that's just what happens with divorce, right?
I don't know if my
mean,
mom's gonna listen to this. Does she still listen? I know she used to listen. And I used to make jokes
not
about
sure
it,
if
that
she
she was the
does.
only listener.
Well, my mom listens. My mom listens all the time, and she sends me critiques on every episode. But
You
yes,
better write those down.
I do,
know.
and I take note.
Actually, thinking about that is kind of terrifying because of all the fucked up shit that I say on this podcast.
Sooner or later, you realize like your relationship with your parents just kind of changes when you realize you're both grown ups.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm older than they were when they had me. Now,
Oh, yeah.
which is weird.
When my parents were my age, I was 12. So
Damn.
it's when I think about things that way, I'm like, oh my God, my mom was growing. Muted both of us,
Sorry.
but my mom was growing up. She had me when she was 20. So I've always thought about that since I was 20. And it's like she was just growing up. My parents were growing up raising me, and that puts a lot of things in a different perspective, now that I'm as old as I am now.
The little Cheney running around.
Yeah. But so you have not been the drummer of Nekrogoblikon since the beginning of the band, right?
I joined in. I've known them since the beginning of the band.
Okay.
It started as a 2-piece on MySpace,
Wow.
and and so.
So was it
and
just Alex and Nikki?
at the time? It was Nikki and this guy Tim. They started together, and Tim was the guitar player on the album Stench, and prior to that, Goblin Island. And then he left. Alex came in pretty much. I think he came in during Stench. So Alex is the second oldest member.
Okay.
So he's basically an original member. And now it's kind of Alex is the business goblin. He kind of deals with that stuff. And Nikki's kind of the primary songwriter.
Totally.
And Raptor responded to a flyer at Musicians Institute in LA. Necro had put up a flyer looking for a keyboard player. And he was the only one that answered the call, and he got the gig. And he fucking shreds.
That was a lucky. I mean,
they're
I always
all right,
look
we're gonna
at
have to. We're gonna get back to you, bro.
I always look at those things and I'm like, these never work. They never
Yeah.
work. So it's good to hear a success story.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you never fucking know, you know?
Never know.
So,
Damn, am I?
yeah, I joined officially in 2016.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm on the Bonkers record, and I'll be on the new one.
So how did you meet them?
MySpace, like literally, it's like, here's some like weird, cool music, and just started messaging. I was talking with Tim originally. I actually didn't really start talking to Nikki until much later. But they were just doing like weird, funny shit in Fruity Loops and like putting goblin vocals on it. And like, here's this stuff, I don't know. And I was doing my cyber grind projects at the time, and all that kind of bullshit. And like, I don't know, and just kind of kept in touch. And then my band at the time, Destroy from Nashville, we were talking about touring together. Necro hadn't been on tour yet, and we were just talking about planning a tour together. Also with Profugus Mortis, who went on to become Blackguard. Like they were gonna be a part of that little thing. Of course, it never panned out, or just didn't end up happening, or whatever it was. So we almost toured together in like 2003 or 4 or whatever, or like, no, I would have been like 05, I think, something like that. Yeah. And then just kept in touch. And then I actually toured as Rainbowdragoneyes with Nekrogoblikon as like a support act.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And I've did that a couple of times. And actually, okay, I got a funny tour story here.
Let's hear it.
So it was from that tour. So we were playing the I played the Whiskey A Go-Go like a couple of times. The first time was right after the No One Survives video popped off, and they had like an actual budget to like put together a lineup, of whoever they wanted for their own like hometown show. And they flew me out. I was supposed to be direct support.
Okay.
But the people at Whiskey A Go-Go, it was like a one-off. People at Whiskey A Go-Go were like, no one knows who the fuck this is. No one cares. Let's just put them on earlier, So I played much earlier, but then like after that set, like everyone who worked at the Whiskey A Go-Go was like, dude, that was sick. And I was like, yeah, I know. You should have put me on direct support. Like, so that was the first time. And then it was the next time after that we were touring together, and I was in the proper slot. And we had stayed up all night the night before doing mushrooms and being weird. And
sounds like it.
I don't think we slept at all. It was craziness. I don't think we slept at all. And then we went to the Whiskey and played a show.
Damn.
And then I was doing my set, and like somewhere in between, I was like, yeah, we're just like you guys partying or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I banter stuff. And I was like, yeah, we were up all night doing mushrooms. I pointed to someone random in the crowd. I'm like, this guy knows what I'm talking about. Come to find out, the guy I pointed to was on mushrooms at the time.
No way.
He was.
That's amazing.
Oh.
Except for you harshed his mellow.
I know. Was he like, oh God?
No. The story doesn't end there. Apparently it made his night way better. He was having a shit time until that. And he started freaking out and was just loving it after that.
Wow.
And then fast forward, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years later, and we played at this like brewery in Chico, and that guy was there. Damn. And he was like, dude, I just want you to know, like, that show where you pointed at me in the crowd, like, completely changed my life.
Wow.
He was like, I was having the worst time, and you just made it like so much better. It was just like, holy shit, like that happening. Like, it was just the craziest thing ever.
That is really crazy. So did he come up to you after the set and was like, hey, I'm actually on mushrooms, FYI?
No.
How would you know that?
I think at the time, maybe it was like a friend of his like told me that.
Okay.
But then I actually got to meet him all those years later. And we like talked about it. And it was crazy.
That's
like
insane.
That is crazy. That's the cool thing about going on tour or playing shows.
Or playing music of any kind. It's like being on stage. It's like you never know what you're going to do on stage or with music that is gonna completely flip someone's script. You know what I mean? It's like you never have any idea what anyone in the crowd is going through, and if you like point them out or something, who could have fucking ever anticipated that you were going to change that guy's life by saying something about fucking mushrooms? Random.
I don't know if I didn't change his life, but I definitely changed his evening for the better.
Yeah. I mean, that changes his life though.
That's true.
It's maybe he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he remembered that shit. Yeah. And then he, came up to me 5 years later and said, hey, thanks. Like,
yeah, that's crazy. So what were you, I'm kind of curious about the Nashville thing. What were you doing there?
Yeah, what got you from, did you move from
Maryland?
But where in Maryland did you say?
Silver Spring.
Silver Spring. I always get Frederick and Silver Spring mixed up.
I think that's like where Tosin and Hob are from.
Yeah, it is. Silver Spring.
Yeah. Like I was living with a friend of mine. We actually had a band called the Umbilical Chords as in chord.
All right.
I actually think this is awesome that you say all this shit, because you like make all of the decisions that I would never make. So it's like I just would never be in a band called the Umbilical Chords or any of that stuff. But it's cool
to hear. At the time, I was 18 years old, and there was this guy that was like a couple of years older than me, and we just like became really fast friends. And he was just the coolest dude. And just kind of opened my eyes to all this shit. He was a recording guy, and so we were kind of just like working on shit together. Basically, awesome. It was sort of like this like power pop kind of stuff, like pop punk, but not like pop punk. I guess.
What makes power pop? Power punk? Did you say power punk or power pop?
Maybe
power pop,
like,
I guess.
Power pop is it like
later over? Maybe
like XTC kind of shit.
Oh,
like
okay, dude. Totally. Okay.
Yeah. But like more punk, I guess. There was only 3 of us. And I was playing bass in that band, and I had never played bass before. They just needed a rocker dude that could rock out and play a bass. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's do that.
Rocker needed for power pop band.
Long hair.
You're going to probably be on bass.
Yeah. Well, the drummer, I worked with the drummer, and the drummer was like, hey, I want you to meet this guy. And I was like, okay. And skipping ahead a little bit, dude is like a super successful recording engineer in Nashville. He recorded the Alabama Shakes album that went platinum.
Oh, fuck.
So he's got a platinum record.
I know exactly who Alabama Shakes are. Do you?
No.
Yeah, I know who that is. Definitely.
I wouldn't know of them if it weren't for my friend Andrea, but he's the guy. And anyway, so we were in the umbilical cords together, which is nowhere on the internet, so don't even bother looking.
I was gonna look.
You could add that to your Wikipedia.
I might be able to send it to you.
You really should. I want to hear it.
Yeah, it's silly. I did backup vocals on that as well, but yeah, we were just bored of Maryland. Before I left, though, I was going to try out for Dying Fetus and for Misery Index at the time when they were looking for drummers.
Solid.
Oh, fuck.
I didn't follow through. I was like practicing the songs, and I probably could have done it.
Yeah.
But I didn't follow through because
damn, and you would have been a good vocalist in Fetus too.
I can't do the lows though. I do more
but
the mids.
Yeah, you can. I feel like you would have hit the mids though, the highs. Not Gallagher's parts, but the other parts.
They already had Sean though at that point.
That's true, but you could have added a third vocal.
I mean,
way to fuck it up, man.
Whatever. There's plenty of shit I should have done probably, but
Hey, I've been reading about, think of the billions of doors that you have to close in order to make one decision. You're saying no to so many things in your life just to do one thing.
You can't just stand in the lobby looking at all the doors. You got to open one of them.
You got to open one, and you got to say goodbye to the other ones.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
But so anyway, I don't know. We were bored of Maryland, and interestingly enough, a lot of people I went to high school with at Sherwood High School, class of 02.
Represent.
Yeah. They ended up going to MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like a half hour from Nashville.
Totally.
And so we had a bunch of friends there, and it was close enough to Nashville. And it was cheap as fuck to live there. And we were just like, let's go there and do stuff. We're like, okay. So we just up and left, and that was that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I bet back in that day it was probably $200 to live there or some shit.
It was, I mean, we're in a few different places. The place I ended up, I was paying $500 a month for a house, the whole house.
Oh my God. Ugh.
It was,
damn.
That's amazing.
It was less than 700 square feet of a place.
Okay.
Still
a house though.
It's a house.
Yeah. I had a bedroom. I had a band room. I had a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room. That was it.
That is amazing.
No washer dryer, no dishwasher.
What about a yard though?
What more do you need?
A yard that I had to mow, and I didn't have a shed, so I would have to borrow a lawnmower.
For $500, man.
Not
I can't
bad,
get
right?
you a thing. That'll get you a closet nowadays.
I don't even know if you get anything.
Yeah, I don't.
And then in 2010, Nashville was flooded real bad.
Yep.
And yeah,
really?
A whole bunch of shit, and all of Paul Diamond's guitars, or whatever, a whole bunch of shit got ruined, including my house on the very last day. I was in Atlanta playing a show with Destroy, and my buddy Andrea lived quarter mile away from me, so he was checking on the place to make sure it was fine, because it just it would just started raining and did not stop for 4 days.
Yeah.
And it was fine. He was yeah, there's maybe a half inch, couple inches of water in the yard, but otherwise fine. And then the next day we got back, I looked at my front door, and there was a water line across the top of the front door. And I was like, oh shit, I know what that is.
Holy shit.
And opened the door, and it's all flooded. It's all gone.
So your drum, did you have drums in there and shit?
Well, I was playing in a show in Atlanta, so I had my drums with me.
Wow.
I had my laptop. My dog was at a friend's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had to move after that, and the landlord offered to let me buy the place for like $30,000. Granted, it would have taken maybe another $30,000 to fix it up.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I don't think I'm ready at this time. And then I looked on Zillow and it sold for like 170.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you're like,
yeah.
damn it.
And I would imagine that nowadays it's probably worth even more. Nashville has gone up so much in value.
I didn't even recognize half of it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the first time that I went there was in like 2011, but a few years ago, Naveen and I were considering moving there because Evan, when Evan lives in Hendersonville, he lives in Nashville, and just there were a ton of people there, and we're like, fuck, Nashville just seems like a rad place to live, so we're exploring it. And to buy a house in Nashville proper, we're talking about like in the $300,000-$400,000 range. In Murfreesboro,
That sounds
was like
cheap. 300,000 and 400,000.
Fuck.
I think we found ones that were even cheaper than that.
Yeah, we might have. But it's still sort of expensive to me to live in the middle of the country, you know?
Yeah. And they would just like bulldoze like these old houses, and they would build like 3 houses on the lot where there was one house, and then just put it on Airbnb.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
Dude.
that's just what's happening there.
That's so. I wonder that sometimes, like how many of these houses in any given city are being used toward Airbnb only.
Yeah. Oh, and they would be like stacked like duplexes too. So it'd be like 6 Airbnb listings on this lot that used to only have one house.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like a tall, skinny situation.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen a bunch of those. Yeah.
And it's just going to like fucking fall over in 15 years. Probably.
Totally. I mean, it's like the fast fashion of houses to me. It's like, how could these possibly be like stable houses?
Literally, they were just popping up like it would take a month for all these houses to get built, which is like way too quick.
Yeah, I would say.
Like some kind of payola or something going on behind the scenes.
Totally. Well, so because I was reading earlier, like all of the bands that you've been in. When you lived in Nashville, were you in Inferi?
Yeah, I was the original drummer.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And so you met Malcolm there then, and when you were in Nashville? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on the first 2 albums. The first one they took down, and the second one they re-recorded.
Is that called The Path of?
No. The first one was Divinity and War.
Okay.
And we only made like 100 or 150 copies on CDs, and they're all gone. And we like sold our own personal copies too, and probably the biggest one of the many big. I got a list of regrets here, and it's on there.
That's one of them.
That one, and then End of an Era.
End of an Era is the one that I was thinking of that was re-recorded, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when Inferi, because there were a few years off, right? That Inferi had taken off. Yeah,
it was after End of an Era was 2009, I think, and then just kind of like put it on hiatus, and then but they got Spencer now and fucking crushing it.
Did Malcolm ask you to play in the band again?
No, because I had already moved away, and it needed to be local thing, and I totally get it.
Totally, of course.
But it's definitely working what they got going on now. I will take credit, however, for getting Andrew in the band, because Malcolm hit me up asking if I knew any bass players.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, actually, yes, I know one. But so now Andrew and Stevie, Stevie actually moved to Texas. But they were living both in Denver.
Right.
And both of them commuting to Nashville. But now Stevie's in Texas and Andrew's still here. But there was that. Wow, and so I was playing in like Destroy, and Inferi. Between the 2 bands, we would get like every sick tour that came through. Yeah. It was usually the Muse or the End.
Definitely.
I didn't play at the End until I was in Entheos.
I really liked the venue. The shows there just never did well. I don't know why.
We have never played a show that wasn't sold out there.
Wow.
Except for actually the first, I think, you know what, actually I take that back. I think the first show that we played there with Beyond Creation headlining wasn't sold out, but it was pretty close. But since then we haven't played a show that wasn't sold out. How long ago was it? The Beyond Creation show, I would say, was it was on one of our first tours. It was probably in like 2016.
Okay.
But we've played there since with a couple different bands, and they've all sold out. But they were pretty. Honestly, they were hype tours. They were tours that were doing really well elsewhere.
Didn't it close?
I don't know, actually. Also, this was like, 10 or more years ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I
yeah.
said, I never heard like Animosity never played there.
My
We
only
always
qua-
played the Muse.
My
straight
only
up.
qualm with the end is that I can only buy like 4% beer there.
Really?
Oh, really?
It's like really low percentage beer and cider that they sell, and
They don't have
white
a license
claws.
or something.
They have white
yeah,
claws.
Yeah, true that.
So it's
That's
like,
different.
yeah, if I'm trying to get a nice drink, then it's not happening at the fucking
Yeah.
at the
No,
end.
there's a few bars in the area,
Yeah,
though.
there's plenty of places to.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
Nashville rules. I love like just hanging
I
out
miss it.
downtown there.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
I had so much fucking fun there when I went to do the Whitechapel thing and hung out with Mark and stuff. It was sick.
Yeah.
It was the best.
It's just
Yeah.
it's just fun. It's like every time we're there, I feel like there's like a 20 bachelorette parties going on.
It's the
Oh,
best.
yeah, definitely. Big bachelorette city for some reason.
Dude,
Yeah.
totally. And Nashville is one of those places where I started to feel sad going into the different bars because everyone who was playing in a band at a bar there was an incredible musician.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like thousands of cover bands, just cover
Yeah.
band after any given bar on any given night. It was like you could
Yeah.
see the most amazing cover band ever.
There was like, I don't remember who it was exactly. Let's just say it was Dierks Bentley, had a show, fucking massive stadium show. And then everyone goes out to the bars afterwards and they're requesting Dierks Bentley. It's like, dude, you literally just saw the real thing. Like, what?
They're
What?
trying to relive that moment. Yeah, I
No,
know.
but definitely like top tier musicianship, that was like when I was living there, like the bar for musicianship was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you never saw like so few people like at a show that just had so much talent, it's because everyone who lived there is a musician. So it's like, they didn't give a fuck about music,
Yeah. You think so? Yeah, that's
Well, it's
interesting.
like, yeah, come to my show. It's like, okay, come to my show. It's like, oh, I'll try and make it, just that.
Totally. Totally. I mean, dude, like I was saying, it made me feel really sad because I was walking into different bars, and at some bars, like they're super populated and there's a really good cover band playing, but at the bar next door, there's an equally as good cover band playing and there's no one there. And you're like, I know how it feels to be a musician, and I know walking into those bars, I can just feel that these guys like really want to make it.
Yeah,
and it just like made me feel super
This ain't
sad.
my full-time gig,
Yeah, exactly.
I got another band. I should give you my CD.
Dude,
There's
let me
nothing
get
going to be
mine.
left of the world. It'll be cinerated, and God will have to pick out what he's going to take home out of the ashes.
Oh, word?
But yeah, so what made you did you move from Nashville to Colorado?
I did. There was a lady in the picture at the time. She came out to, it's funny. First time, well, I don't know if it's funny. It's kind of sad and depressing, actually. She was, what's the difference anyway?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh, that's cheap.
She was like all set to come out and like stay with me at my house, the one that flooded. And her flight out was 2 weeks before the flood. And obviously,
That's a good metalcore name.
I think that is a
before
band,
the flood.
before the flood, yes.
Before
right.
the flood.
We gotta get a track up real quick before this episode
Yeah,
comes
let's do it. There we go. Before the flood debut.
Yeah. Yeah. And so my cousin actually lived there. So I had to move in with my cousin in like a townhouse. And so she stayed with me there, and she had an internship at CMT, Country Music Television.
Oh yeah.
Because she was in school at the time. And then once that was done, she had to go back to finish school. And, bands weren't really doing shit. And I was also kind of like, yeah, okay, let's go to Colorado. Like, sounds like fun. So just like packed up and moved out there. And then, we haven't dated for a long time now, but, I loved it here. And I had the Vale of Pnath gig actually lined up, like prior to moving here. So that was kind of another like reason to come out, I guess.
What year could that have been?
That was it was right after Prodigal Empire came out. I think so.
Well, Animosity broke up in 2008. So
Prodigal Empire came out
Okay,
about
so-
3 years after that. So,
Yeah. That was in 2011.
okay, yeah.
So-
Look, I was right on with that.
Yeah, that makes sense because it was like I feel like the following year when I moved. So that makes sense. It was around that time. And fuck, it's been 10 years out here already now.
Wow.
So
Time flies, man.
yeah.
We've probably lived in Santa Cruz for like 8
years.
Yeah,
8
like
years.
It's crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I think I've been out of animals for well over 10 years.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, about 10 years. But I mean, that's
Or maybe about 10.
yeah. So you were in Vale. Were you on the latest Vale stuff? Were you on Accursed?
I'm on Accursed and I'm on 2.
Okay, I thought so. So why did you? What was the deal there with you not being on Vale? Are you still in Vale? I have no idea.
Well, so I mean, no one's doing shit right now, but like, Necro's my full-time gig as far as band world and Wizardthrone, but that's just to do like sick festivals whenever is convenient for us. We're all in other bands, so yeah, so I don't know, like I was talking to Vance and he definitely wants to like move forward with like a solid lineup, which would be sick to see for that band.
Understandable. Vale, I mean, dude, Vale is such a sick band, and it's like it's a band deserving of a lineup that's in the band because I especially with Accursed.
I don't think it's toured with the same lineup more than once.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like someone is like, it'd be the same people involved, but like maybe they couldn't do that one.
Right.
So you fill in and that kind of thing.
Wow.
But I did the first Vale tour when I was still living in Nashville. They flew me out for it because apparently there's no other drummers in Colorado that can play this stuff. So
I believe it.
Yeah. So we did that. And then pretty much, we just became friends and kept in touch and all that. And then there was the ex-girlfriend, mutual friends actually. So I met the girl through Vale actually. So Vale came first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
First came the Vale, then
first
came
the Vale, then all the rest.
Not marriage, but close.
That's something.
Could have been close actually, but didn't. I'm dodged a bullet there. But
Gangster.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, she's cool. It's all good.
Yeah.
So
in case she's listening, it's all good, girl.
She's not listening.
She hasn't listened to metal in years, so I doubt
What
she
an
even
asshole.
has heard of podcasts. I don't know.
Metal podcasts.
But that's awesome, man. I mean, like I was saying, I fucking love Vale, and
I legitimately I do too. Like, and it's like that's my shit. Like that's the kind of stuff I love playing. Like Necro's sick too. Don't get me wrong, and it's definitely helped me clean up my short game quite a bit. From just blasting nonstop.
Yeah.
And that's been valuable, and it's cool to like figure out how to play cool stuff. At slower tempos, I guess, and like trying to do cooler fills and shit like that and just come up with different ideas. But it's a good gig for sure. I mean, I love the guys and I love the music too. So
yeah,
totally.
But I mean, tech death is where it's at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're more of a blast guy, huh?
You're more of a blast.
Yeah, I'm definitely blast guy.
Is that what you like listen to in your free time? Is tech death?
Ooh, man,
listen to?
I'm all over the map here. I've been on a big deathcore slam binge lately.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've been listening to a little bit of slam myself.
I just never like got into it before, or I avoided it for some reason, and so I've just been like, fucking just going all in, and it's sick because I got a car that has subwoofer in it now, and it's just like it's fun to listen to in that. So.
Who are you listening to? What's up? Who you
well, the new brand is unbelievable. Like the title track alone is worth the price of admission, and then there's a whole other album. There's a whole rest of the album.
Yeah.
Aversion's Crown.
Yeah, I like Aversion's Crown for sure.
Boris the Blade.
Oh, that's like an Australian band, right?
Australian band, yeah. Dude, the new Within the Ruins, the guitar tone on that album absolutely blew my fucking mind. I think that album's really good.
I haven't checked that one out.
It came out last year sometime.
Oh, wow.
What else? Been listening to Rings, even though I like tour with them a few times already.
Yeah.
It's just it's fun to listen to bands you tour with for like nostalgic reasons,
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, I've listened to them a bit, just here and there, like at work or something.
Just for like insanity,
Yeah.
But like, I'm just so over the like, well, this isn't this because it does this, but it's like, but is it good?
Yeah.
That's the only question.
That's the same, and that's all that I'm really concerned with. Is it good? I don't really care about genres or any of that shit. I just want to know, do I like it? That's all that really matters.
Like the new brand shit fucking sounds like EDM to me. Like it's just like unbelievably well produced, and there's a lot of electronic elements. And I honestly like forgot I was listening to a metal album until there was like a break and he was hitting the hi-hat. And I was like, oh shit, like there's real drums in this and people playing the stuff, like it's unbelievable, man. It's so good.
That's rad.
I find myself like, I don't know, going the other way lately. Like I've always been way into super sick production. It's been like the cost of entry, it's like, is the production sick? I'm not listening. And now I'm like listening to just all sorts of like weird black metal and stuff. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's like cool in a different way.
I'm getting close to my black metal phase. I think I go through one of those every couple of years.
Yeah. I'm
there. I'm in it. I'm deep in it, man. I'm in the forest.
Most of what I listen to is like in the post-rock folky realm, I would say. That's, I mean, as far as metal goes, I like post-metal and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But there's some deathcore sometimes will fucking get me. I mean, it just depends. Yeah, it's like if it's a good band, it's good.
Yeah, not deathcore, but Ingested is unbelievable as well. Like slam.
Okay, yeah, I gotta check that out.
Super digging them.
Ingested.
I'll send you my favorite track of theirs. It just keeps. It's like a 2-minute 45-second song, but it just keeps getting heavier.
Yeah,
as it goes on.
I love that stuff, man.
It's just so sick.
Yeah, have you heard Putridity?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I listen to them a lot. Like, listen to them and like I don't know, stuff like that. I'm into it for sure.
Grindy, gory stuff.
Yeah.
Cytotoxin.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, dude.
Sick.
That record they put out, Nuclear.
Yeah.
Nuclear.
I've been jamming that one quite a bit.
Sick. It reminds me a lot of Beneath the Massacre, honestly.
Yeah. It's like Beneath the Massacre, but like way quicker.
Yeah, the vocals are the vocals sound like Beneath the Massacre vocals. You're totally right. But I really liked that record last year. It was sick.
I like it too. I haven't really been listening to a whole lot of like quote unquote like tech death stuff. I've been more into the like ultra brutal.
I found a playlist on Spotify that somebody made just called Tech Death.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's every Tech Death album.
It's just all the Tech Death.
So I found a few bands off of that. I couldn't tell you the name off the top of my head right now, but a lot of good shit in there.
I like those playlists. Like I'll just
something
that I'm into right now is just like I'll just go on my computer if I have like an hour or two and just listen to music for just searching through,
And I like the radio shit. Like if you start a radio from a song or from an artist, but the problem with that is you end up getting a lot of the same tracks over and over.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or the same track from a certain band. But it's all, it's been good discovery tool.
I love it, man. I mean, people that are kind of, I think when you're in your 30s or so, you're like, all the new shit sucks. I'm blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's just because you're not looking for new music, dude. And when you were a kid, you were looking for it. That's how I feel.
Literally impossible for all new shit to suck.
There's like so much good new music. It's crazy.
But you know what I found in a lot of people is that I feel like they haven't actually listened to any new music since like 2005.
Yeah, they haven't tried.
The other day I saw someone say something that really offended me, and it was that the chord of the Crimson King is the only good prog album that's ever been made on Earth. And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe if you stopped listening to progressive music in 1975, then that was the only good fucking album that's ever been made. But
bar none. And like, I'm right, you know?
Yeah.
Correct.
No, yeah. And then he was like, well, I like stuff that's not like polished. And it's like, man, there are so many different things that exist now that you can find polished and unpolished. Like that's one thing that's so cool about right now is that every style of music from the past exists.
I know.
And it's almost even better now than it used to be. Like they've improved on it, believe it or not. They've taken old ideas and they've improved on them. And
with the raw black metal stuff. It's like it's like raw in like a not raw way.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
totally.
Like intentionally raw, so it's like sounds super cool.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I know you guys have been rocking that band Derwig.
Bro.
It's
my new favorite band.
Perfect example because it's like super like lo-fi, but it's not. Like the production's good, and
I think their production's pretty good, honestly.
It's good. It's good, but it's like, I mean, just Yeah, I don't know. Like the drums aren't like fixed up or anything.
Yeah.
like-
Totally. Yeah.
That drummer's fucking sick, dude. We
It's
watched.
unbelievable.
Have you seen that live video of them? There's like a really,
I
really
haven't seen
pro.
any videos of them yet.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's a really pro video of them playing, and it sounds obviously identical to the CD, and it's like really, really cool.
Honestly, just get like ripped on weed or pop a little cap and watch their videos.
It's
That's
super
what
sick.
got me.
Yeah.
I was just like
Yeah.
on a cap and I was watching their videos all night and I was just like, fuck, this band is like the best band in the entire
it's
world.
really, really
They're
good.
so good.
Apparently, they used to play Tech Death or something. maybe?
That kind of shows. That kind of
Yeah,
shows.
and then they just started writing evil ass riffs.
To be honest with you, they look like Tech Death guys. When I saw them, I was like, whoa, this is not at all what I expected. But
Right,
I'm
They're like incognito black metal.
yeah.
I know. I was
yeah.
kind of like, I don't know if I'm down after I saw them, but
They're a little too squeaky
I like
clean.
my black metal, like, you know what I mean? Evil motherfuckers.
Fucking
No.
paint on, do it right.
I like Gaul, only
no.
Gaul-esque people.
Yeah, Gaul is sick, but I remember like when we saw Emperor somewhere.
No, we saw Emperor. Okay, dude. We saw Emperor at the sickest fucking place ever, Heavy Montreal.
Yeah.
We watched
Yes.
we watched Emperor, but right before Emperor went on, there was a thunderstorm. And
Oh,
it was
wow.
literally only before Emperor went on. There
That's so sick.
It was amazing, and it just like made and there was a little bit of rain, and then fucking Emperor came on. It was the coolest shit I've ever seen.
That's so cool.
But I was
love-
impressed that they were just like plain clothes kind of black metal guys.
yeah.
You wearing sunglasses? They do that live.
Ishan was, yeah.
I think he was just wearing glasses.
When I saw him, he
Oh,
was,
really?
well, because we
Nerd.
walked by him. Yeah, what a fucking nerd.
I was like, I did not expect that.
We
did not
walked.
see
We
that
walked
coming.
by him in the backstage, and he
Yeah.
was wearing sunglasses
That's
then,
sick.
but maybe
No.
it changed.
But yeah, that stuff's cool. I mean, God, there's just so much good music, man. Like,
I
I'm
love
hyped on music right now.
Me too.
Man, I don't know. Can you guys relate out there?
Love it.
Listen, do you
Yeah,
just
love it.
love music? You know,
Love it.
I literally just have music playing all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm working on shit, it'll be playing upstairs, and so when I walk upstairs, it's still there.
That's sick.
That's awesome. Do you have like a cool sound system in your house, or just like a little speaker?
I got a few items. I wear headphones a lot. I like
Oh, wow.
my AirPods are not to be an Apple shill, but they're really nice.
And you
Um,
look cool when you wear them, man.
You look cool, like an executive. I'm
Really
like making
stylish.
calls. I'm on the spin bike, and I'm like, "Hey,
Talk to me."
Still hi.
Sorry.
You're like, go.
Talk to me.
30,000 Deutschmarks.
Yeah. I have like the JBL like little earbuds.
Yeah, me
and
too.
I rock those a lot, but then I got this like DeWalt stereo like for work.
Oh yeah.
And now I just like carry that thing around boombox,
Yeah,
like
boombox.
always blasting
Well,
metal.
you want to know something that's really shot about Naveen and I is that Naveen drives a car, I drive a car, and neither of them have working radios in them.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. But
Cool.
so I'll just rock the,
and
the
both of
DeWalt
us are just so
boombox.
complacent that we've just let them be like that, and
Yeah,
we
like, I
find
guess we
other
just
ways to
don't-
listen to
there's just
music.
not a radio then, I
I
guess.
literally spent thousands of more dollars on a car because it had a JBL system in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's sick with the we need to probably fix that.
We need to fix our shit. Literally, I've been driving around with
It's
no radio.
good.
for
And
years.
honestly, a new studio hack is taking my laptop into the car to finish the mix.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
I don't
that's
have a sub in this room, and I don't think that it would really do me any good if I did in this room. So
really.
yeah, well, just because of the way that it's set up, and it's not treated, and but I've kind of gotten used to where it's at, and so I have like a 5.1 upstairs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yamaha with a nice clip speaker.
I was just going to say that one of my best friends just bought a brand new sub, and he's been ordering every like live DVD and CD that he can in 5.1. So I've
Yeah.
just been listening to records in 5.1 for the last couple of weeks, and it's like blown my fucking mind.
I kind of want to try the sub pack, which is like this vibraty thing that goes on your chair.
I've seen that. That seems sick.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
It's like a feedback for rooms where you can't have a sub, but you can like you hook it up to your interface or whatever, and you can feel the low frequencies, so you can kind of tell where they're at, and it's supposed to really help with mixing.
That is so cool.
Like a wearable subwoofer.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've been saying that, like, first of all, that's really cool. I've been saying we're our new record will be getting mixed in a couple of months, and it's like before I listen to our mix, I have to get my car stereo fixed because that's the best place to judge what it's going to sound like.
Pop it in the car.
It's the best place, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone rocks their shit in a car.
Well, fuck,
Bop
man.
it on that. Bop it on the 5.1. Bop it on the JBL Flip.
Yeah.
In the AirPods, you're like, okay, it's good. I hate it. Now time to delete it and start over.
Yeah,
That's so
totally.
true.
You're just like tear coming down your face.
Yeah. Single tear.
Yeah, my studio hack for mixing is sending it to other people to mix. That's my new thing.
Oh, dude, that's a great hack.
It's like, can you make this sound good? Thanks. I'm not doing this anymore.
I struggle with the low end shit a lot, you know, but I don't know. It's on its way. Also, I've been like playing with Game Boys almost the entire time I've been producing music, so I feel like I'm way behind. But you know, I'm trying to catch up over here. So
no, shit sounds great, man. We listen to a bunch of stuff. Granted, we listen to it on the DeWalt, so I think
okay,
sounds,
well,
that thing
don't
sounds
listen
shitty.
to it on anything nicer than that.
Yeah,
And then good. Sounds great on a phone speaker.
yeah.
It sounded
Bluetooth.
really good. Yeah.
Fuck, man. Anyway, we're rocking like 2 hours here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for hanging out with
Yeah.
us. It's been very
Guys,
enlightening.
thanks for having me. This has been awesome.
Of
Dude,
course,
seriously,
man.
we're,
Anytime. Anytime.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh yes.
But anyway.
All right,
well, I
to
guess,
everyone out there.
There's not really a whole lot of no shows to announce or anything, so.
Got anything to announce, Eric?
I don't know. Like, go wishlist Sea of Stars on Steam. Do that.
Yeah, really do. Check
right.
out all the stuff that Eric works on.
Yeah,
out
hit me
there.
up on Instagram, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah,
Eric Brown
do it. We'll
on
throw it in the
Instagram.
description.
Eric W. Brown.
Eric W. Brown, professionally, officially.
All right, brother. See you soon, man.
Have a good fucking week, guys.
See ya. Cheers.